Okay, so a little bit about myself. I'm Ash and I own Hera London. So 3 years ago, when I was 19, I dropped out of uni. I was studying sports science at Liverpool. I wanted to become like a PE teacher. So yeah, I dropped out after 3 months, hated the work, thought it was bullshit. And then I ended up getting a job at Vodafone, selling phones for 12 months. But during those 12 months, I was setting up a clothing brand called Hera. I knew absolutely nothing about how to start a business or a clothing brand, had no contacts in manufacturing, had no contacts in the industry. I was starting from the bottom, like the very bottom. So what I did was I had to make a business plan. And I did that whilst working at Vodafone full time. I remember working and I'd be on my phone constantly. I used to get told off a lot for being on my phone all the time. That I had no idea what was going on. I didn't tell a single person what I was doing for 12 months. Not even my family, my best friends, no one knew, like only me. The reason behind that is because there is just absolutely no point in telling people your goals or what you want to do, because why waste your time trying to persuade somebody else your vision, your dream? If you already 110% know that is what's going to happen, then it will happen. Don't waste your time, because people will be like, oh, yeah, no, that's a good idea. Or they'll be like, oh, I don't know, because they can't do it themselves. You don't need to look for approval. And that's what many people do. They seek for approval to see if it's okay to do it. Just don't. Honestly, it's so much better doing it yourself. And then when it happens, you're like, yeah, I've been doing this. Here's the proof it's done. Not, I'm going to do it. And then them try and believe you.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right? You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Even when I was working at Vodafone, I remember literally when I was serving customers, I was sat on a desk, and whenever I had to set up the phones, but to set up the phone, I had to use my own personal hotspot on my iPhone. So I used to literally pretend to set the phones up, and I'd be sending emails, I'd be doing anything I possibly could working towards setting up my own brand, my own clothing line, to starting my own business. So I had to put a business plan together to get all the costs, to work out how much this is going to cost to make. So what I did was, because obviously I dropped out of uni, it's just a normal wage from work. I was actually had an overdraft of, I think, minus £2,000. So I had absolutely no money. So what I did is I had to lie to pretty much everybody, pretended I had money. So I researched for weeks manufacturers. Obviously it's so hard to find a manufacturer abroad, especially just starting out. So I found one in the UK. So I went down on the weekend on my day off, didn't tell anybody, to Birmingham. Went to speak to a manufacturer there, and that's where I made my first samples of jeans. We made 3 black jeans, black non-rip, black rip knee, black ripped and repaired. And for people who have followed Hera from the start, I know we only launched 3 pairs of jeans to start with. So yeah, we did that. So I had a meeting with him. It took a good 6 months to absolutely perfect the fit of this particular jean. So I put all that in the business plan, got all the costings. I made 300 pairs for my first order. So that was all in the business plan. Next step was to design a website. How much was that going to cost? So I Googled design websites, found Shopify Builder, and used them. So they gave me the costings, they designed it, and then packaging companies, how much would it cost to get 300 boxes made. So I had all these invoices come to me 12 months, about 8, it's hard to say, probably 10 months down the line. So I was applying for Virgin Startup loans. I was given a mentor by them to help me with my business plans. I was with them every other week working on this plan. Obviously, because I got all the costings over the 8 months, I was like, right, it's going to cost £25,000, and I had to persuade them through a piece, pages and pages of written documents of costings, invoices, how I'm going to do it, what makes you different, what makes you better than Top Man, why are people going to buy your jeans rather from Top Man, big companies basically. And they just didn't believe it. They were like, it's done, like it's not going to work. Like, it was too much of a risk. And me being 19 years old, asking for 25 grand with no business experience, no degree, no nothing, it was just, they wouldn't do it. And I was like, fuck, I've got a ton of invoices need paying. This has to happen. Like, I went to every single bank in Cheltenham, hoping that one of them would be like, okay, yeah. Wasn't the case. Got rejected every single time. I'd go back, improve my plan, I'd go back again, rejected. And they just, all of them said, wouldn't work. It's just not doable. You've got no experience, you're high risk. Just a load of crap. And every single time I walked out of those meetings, out of those banks, and my attitude was just like, fuck you, like fuck every single one of you. I know what I've got, and I know that this is going to be one of the biggest brands in the world one day. And at the end of the day, like, they're giving you advice about business and stuff, but if they were that good at business, they wouldn't be sat at that desk advising you. They'd be running their own company. I think it's because I knew that it would be great, and for me to be told no all the time and keep getting rejected when I needed that money as well to pay these invoices, it was very frustrating. So it got to the point where I was like running out of options. I googled everything, like how to get loans. Unfortunately, Wonga wouldn't do a 25 grand loan either. I'm joking. It got to the point where I was like, okay, I've just spent 12 months of my life working on this every single day until 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to find this money. I then told my parents what I've been doing. I had no choice. I didn't want to. And I was just like, look, this is what I've been doing. Showed them my business plans, and they were like kind of shocked by it all. And I was like, is there any way like you can be a guarantor for these banks? And even that was very difficult. So what happened was it took weeks and weeks and weeks of persuasion, of just saying, you've got to trust me. Like, I've never been so sure in my entire life. I said, what if this is the next big thing? Like, what if? So they were absolutely shitting themselves. Like, literally, they remortgaged their house to get this £25,000 loan. We live in a council estate. They literally have worked 9 till 5 their whole lives on average wages. They didn't give me 25 grand. No way, they wouldn't have the money to do that. They remortgaged their house, which was a huge risk for them financially, because if this didn't work, they'd be screwed, and I'd be so guilty. Like, there's a massive weight on my shoulders. They finally come round, and they, like I said, remortgaged the house. They'd done that. The £25,000 came into my bank account, and then I paid these invoices. I also got in touch with Gaz from Geordie Shore, his manager. Like I said, pretended I had money again, signed a 12-month contract with him. So luckily I got the money in the end. So I paid him, paid everything, paid manufacturers, had my website built, and it all come to life. I did the photo shoot with Gaz from Jewelry Shore as the main face of the brand to start with, and doing that, it was such a surreal feeling after, like, obviously watching Jewelry Shore, like, growing up, and having him as the face of my brand to start with. It was just amazing seeing it all come to life. Like, my vision I had in my head for that whole 12 months, it was all starting to come together. The website was being built, all the images from the shoot went on the website, and then the day it went live, so excited, like, it was literally insane. And I remember Gaz putting out the first Instagram post saying Hera London has launched, and it was just like, wow. On the first day, we sold one pair of jeans. One pair.
You have to, in the struggle, you know, when things are going good and you visualize these good things happening, you visualize more good things happening, that's easy. What's not easy to do is when things are going bad and you're visualizing the good stuff. And that was what I was able to do. I was able to, you know, even though I was having these troubles at home, even though I had no job, you know what I mean, or whatever, didn't know what I was doing. If it didn't happen, but I still was able to feel like it was. I still was able to go into a different, just like use my imagination, like a kid would use his imagination. I was basically just using my imagination, driving a little my girlfriend's car, a Peugeot 206, and I was driving that, shaking down the road, and I visualized it. And I swear to God, sitting in the traffic and all, I visualized. I'm sitting here holding the steering wheel, visualizing a brand new car and visualizing good things in times of struggle. And that when you can do that, I think that really makes that law of attraction work. I think it really attracts to you more. You know what I mean? Because that is harder to do when you're in the struggle to visualize these things.
My parents were really nervous, especially my mum, but I wasn't. It didn't faze me whatsoever, just purely because I knew from day one, even when I wrote the first thing on that business plan up until that 12 months and when it launched, I knew that I would get to that point. I knew it. And I knew from that 12-month point to where it is now, 2 years later, I knew it would get there.
I've been feeling like the UFC World Champion since the day I arrived here.
Did you have faith maybe back then that your time would come and that you would be able to explode onto the scene as you had?
If I didn't, it wouldn't have happened. So I had to believe in it, I had to feel it, I had to have faith in it for it to happen. So you're damn right I did. I can do what I've been dreaming of doing, giving back to people who have given so much to me. I just wanted to give it back and help out and just do that. My mother and father are still young. Now they have their feet up, they can relax, they are in a new place, so it's good. That's something I always dreamed of. I always visualized what giving would feel like, giving to people who have given to me, what that would feel like. I always dreamed of just showing up one day and be like, here. And that would always give me like good feelings.
I'm a massive, massive believer in visualization and the law of attraction. You have to mentally believe so much and you have to see it in your head clearly that this is what I'm going to do, and not a single thing in the entire world will stop me. There's not a single person who can tell you otherwise. It's literally, once it's in your head, it's done. Like, it is done. And there's not a single person who can tell you otherwise. And honestly, if you have that mindset, and you have the mindset of, I don't care, it's gonna happen, then I promise you, there is absolutely no way you will fail. Nothing will get in your way.
Clear picture in your head of something is gonna happen, a clear belief in that it will happen no matter what. Then nothing can stop it. You know what I mean? It is destined to happen, and that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's perfect.
I used to visualize everything from the very start. I remember going to work, driving my Renault Megane car. It's an £800 car. It was always on petrol light. I remember driving to work, just visualizing myself, just wearing normal clothes, everyday clothes, doing whatever I wanted. Didn't have to be a certain job at a particular time. We used to visualize driving a sports car. I've always wanted a Lamborghini. It's just my favourite car. Used to visualise driving home in a Lamborghini, and 3 years later, driving my favourite car, a Lamborghini Huracan Spider. That is my car. That is everything I visualised has come to life.
Of better. I've always visualised better, and in times of struggle, like driving down in a banger of a car that I had to push start, I'd be still driving a soft top Bentley around beautiful California in my head, and lo and behold, now I am driving a beautiful soft top Bentley around California. So I always visualised good things. I always visualised victory, success, abundance. I visualised it all, and it's all happened.
My situation 3 years ago was driving an £800 at my gang car, always on petrol light, going to work with no money, working at Vodafone. That was my life. That was what I was given. That was me. That was my life. I was doing it every single day. And now, fast forward 3 years, I drive a 250 grand Lamborghini Huracan. I'm a CEO of my own company, wearing whatever I want, doing what I want, when I want, and not a single person can tell me what I can and can't do. 3 years that's taken. It is visualization. It's law of attraction. If you really believe in it that much, I promise you nothing can stop it. It's literally, it's insane. I can't even put into words how, honestly, it's so hard to even describe, because it's happened to me. And I know if you're watching this, whatever situation you're in now, if you hate your job, if you're just finished in school, you failed school, you got no GCSEs. I failed all my GCSEs. I got no GCSEs, no degree. So if you're in the same situation I was, where you hate your job and you just don't know what to do with your life, or you have this dream, you just don't know where to start, or you got the excuses, don't know how to do it, or how do I do it? Google. Use Google. That's what I used. And it has all the answers on there, like it does. So yeah, like whatever situation you're in now, start now. And if you don't think you can do it and it's not possible, then honestly just look at what I've done. It is living proof that it works. Like, you can't say that, I can't do it, or I don't know how. I didn't know how. I didn't know anything, and I've managed to do it. So if I can do it, I'm pretty sure anybody in the world can do it. But what happens is people, they set a goal, they do it, and further down the line, 10 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, what they do is they quit, they stop. And that is how you fail. That is the only way to fail, by stopping. You have to start now, and you have to do it every single day of your life, and eventually you will get there. There's no end goal, because what happens when you get there? What happens when you get to your goal? Are you going to stop? Are you going to quit? No, you're not. So you've got to enjoy what you're doing. You have to do it. You are what you do in life every single day. So if you're doing one thing towards, say, creating a business, every single day you do a single thing which gets you one step closer. This famous quote, which was from Will Smith, which has stuck for me from day one, and it's probably helped me to get me to where I am now mentally. It's, if you're going to build a wall, you don't say you're going to build this big badass wall straight away from day one. It doesn't work like that. You have to get a single brick and lay it as perfectly as you possibly can every single day, and eventually you have a wall. And that, I've used that from day one.
One summer, his dad tore down a brick wall on the front of his business and told 12-year-old Will and his 9-year-old brother to rebuild it, a job they said was impossible. It took them 1.5 years, but they didn't.
And he said, now don't you ever tell me it's something that you can't do.
You don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. And you do that every single day. And soon you have a wall.
Literally, if you work on it every single day, think of it as a wall. Like literally, you do it every single day, and it builds, and eventually it's fucking insane. And that's exactly what I've done. Started from nothing to where I am now. Taken 3 years of working on it every single day, and that is exactly what you have to do to make it. And there will be days where you're like, this is just shit, I hate it, it's hard, it's stressful, why am I doing this? And I get those days, I still get those days. You just have to literally just take a deep breath, take a step back from the situation and just chill and just think why you're doing this in the first place, and just say, enjoy it, like this is all part of it, I'm doing what I love. And yeah, that's it. And whatever your goal is, like at first when you know absolutely nothing, it's very overwhelming. You're like, how on earth am I going to do this? But you got to think, whatever your goal is, it's doable, it's possible. Think about it, right? People can build massive, massive skyscrapers. Like look at buildings, like huge, huge buildings. Imagine you building that. Like how would you even do that? How would you, even hundreds of years ago, before airplanes were invented, if I said to you, okay, I'm going to invent a piece of metal, I'm going to put hundreds of people in it, and I'm going to fly it over the sky, over the world, and it's going to go from A to B without crashing, you'd think I'd be insane. Even hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, before a light bulb was invented, if someone said to you, okay, right, I'm going to invent a switch where you walk into a room, you press a button, and light appears. It's all possible. Like, you just got to think of the craziest inventions that people invented compared to your idea. It's possible.
I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities. I want to represent the idea that you really can make what you want. One of my favorite books is The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho. And I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create.
That is one reason why I've made it, why Hera is the brand it is today. And that is purely because I believed in it so much, and I visualized everything from the very start, from when I had absolutely nothing. That never left me. I knew from absolutely day one that I would get to where it is now, and I know exactly where it's going in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. It is going to be one of the biggest brands in the world. It's already done. Like in my head, I already know that is what it's going to become. I already know it. And when you believe in it that much, and you see it in your head that much, and you visualize it, and you can see exactly where it's going, and there's nothing which is going to stop it or get in its way. It's just literally, it's destined to happen. And it's an amazing thing when you know how to use visualization properly. It's powerful and it works.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
So yeah, I just want you to apply all this mental side of it to what you want to do. So whatever your goal is now, I want you to pick up a pen, I want you to grab that fucking piece of paper, write it down, and from today onwards, you're gonna do what I did 3 years ago. You're gonna write your goal down, and every single day, you're gonna work on that goal. Even if it's for 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, half an hour a day, an hour a day. I was up till 3 in the morning, every day, doing it for 12 months. So honestly, create a Word document on an iPad or an Apple Mac or pen and paper, and you'll slowly start to see it come to life. So once you've done the logo, once you've come up with the design work or what you want to do, and you've got it on that keynote or something, you will slowly start to see it build up and build up and build up and build up, and you will get more excited as you go along. you kind of have to have this delusional quality about you, that you have to be so delusional to think you can do this, you can create this brand from nothing, from going to where you are to where you are now. You have to be slightly gone in the head to believe it, and with whatever your goal is, just don't fall into reality. Just be up there, just literally just believe in it. Nothing's too crazy, nothing's insane, just do it.
There's a certain delusional quality that all successful people have to have. You have to believe that something different than what has happened for the last 50 million years of history. You have to believe that something different can happen.
Be at the pinnacle of any game, in any, whatever you do, you've got to be a little bit gone to it. You're not all there. You've got to be almost insane to your craft. Not a lot of people can understand that. That's why I don't know about nothing else. I do not pay attention to nothing else. When I was a kid, I used to always visualize stadiums and like, even when I was playing football, I'd kick the ball against the wall and I'd pretend I scored a goal, and I'd run off and I'd be raising my hand and visualizing an arena full of fans. And that was something I'd done as a kid out on my own. I like just running around kicking the ball. So I always had these visions of something, but I just didn't know what it was.
Also, there's just no point in being realistic, like with your goals. I remember once when I first told my mum what I was doing, she actually told me to get my head out of the clouds. And I still remind her of that day, and we both laugh now.
Being realistic is the most commonly traveled road to mediocrity. Why would you be realistic? What's the point of being realistic?
Just put up a barrier.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's done. It's already done. The second I decide it's done, it's already done. It's now we just gotta wait for y'all to see.
It's unrealistic to walk in a room and flip a switch and lights come on. That's unrealistic. Fortunately, Edison didn't think so. It's unrealistic to think you're gonna bend a piece of metal and fly people over an ocean in that metal. That's unrealistic. But fortunately, the Wright brothers and others didn't believe that, and it just seems like such a ridiculous idea to me to embrace the idea that it's not going to happen, and that's not real, for that to happen. As soon as you say it, now you just made that real.
Today is actually the second year of Hera London, so 2 years to this date is when we launched with Gaz. It's been an insane 2 years. It's just, I can't even put it into words, it's just been amazing. So yeah, so I wasn't actually going to do a video. It's not particularly me, like I'm quite introverted. I don't really like putting myself out there too much. But you know what, I just thought that I think I'd regret not doing it, purely because of what's kind of happened from where it started, from where it began to where it is now. Like, I get messaged a lot asking for questions, how to do this, how do you do that. People kind of assume as well that I was kind of given it just landed on my lap, or oh, daddy did this, or you just got given a car, you're from a wealthy background. Nah, none of that. So I just wanted people to kind of know that, and obviously I hope it inspires people and I hope it motivates people, and I think this is the main reason why I've done this video. I just want to inspire people to chase their dreams and to give them a bit of hope that how a 19-year-old kid who's in the bottom set at school, who got written off at school, failed all my GCSEs, went to uni, dropped out of uni, worked at a normal job, worked at Vodafone, drove a normal £800 car, and I managed to change my life within 3 years. My last final kind of message of this video is that, from what I've learned, is life is all about creating yourself. Be an individual, if you're down, if you're in a rut, and you don't know what to do with your life, you're depressed or whatever, just literally find what you love, whether it's the gym, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, whether it's creating a business, whatever it may be. Just make sure you do it every single day of your life and just enjoy it and just literally just live your life, because you're never going to get these years back. Like your 20s up until your 30s, you've got no responsibilities, no kids, no mortgage, no nothing. Live your life. Like if you want to go traveling, go travel. Just live. Like it's the best thing ever. Like just be the best person you can possibly be in yourself.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've got any questions at all, just leave a comment, like the video, share it. So yeah, peace out.
Okay. Obviously you knew somewhere inside yourself that you were destined to be famous, because I think it's really a marvelous thing, that visualization thing you did. Do y'all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night
and visualize seeing yourself as...
Yeah, I would visualize,
This is when you were broke and poor.
You know, right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, you know, I like your work or whatever that is. And I would visualize things coming to me that I wanted or whatever.
This was in like 1987, 85?
Yeah.
And
I had nothing at that time, so it was like, but it just made me feel better. It made me, at that time, all it really was for me was kind of making me feel better. I would drive home and think, well, I do have these things, and they're out there. I just don't have a hold of them yet, but they're out there.
Okay, so you would get this from what, self-help books or whatever?
Yeah, self-help section.
Self-help section.
They've renamed it the Jim Carrey wing.
So didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that you did. Is that true?
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber. Maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah. So you visualize yourself like... Visualization works if you work hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't just visualize and then, you know, go eat a sandwich.
I love that.
What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Please. I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
The reasonings why I put Will Smith, Conor McGregor, Jim Carrey and ZYZZ in the videos was just because they're the videos I used to watch when I was 19, when I had nothing, and I really installed their mindsets into my head. I watch their videos every single morning for half an hour a day for an entire year. Like if I watch one of the videos now, I know the words like inside out. I could literally mimic it. You got to really just really watch the videos and just go into really great depth and detail of what it really means, and once you figure that out, it's very, very easy to learn all about the law of attraction, visualization, and whatever your goal is, whichever goal you decide to do, and if you use that mindset and follow what they taught me, then you'll make it 100%. There's no doubt.